In The Amazing Spider-Man, Spidey gets room to show off his high-flying acrobatics. In the last two Spider-Man games from developer Beanox, the sense of free-flying adventure was lacking. Here, Spidey has the whole of Manhattan as his playground. As you swing past trees and skyscrapers, you get a dizzying sense of what it must be like to slip into the famous costume. It's a joy when the Amazing Spider-Man thrusts you into this wide-open world. By holding down a single trigger, you swing in whichever direction you choose. You don't necessarily see your webbing attached to anything nearby, but the game does a great job of providing the illusion that the laws of physics still vaguely apply. When you swish through a park that isn't near tall buildings, you stay near the ground. When surrounded by buildings, you rise towards the heavens. Out here in the concrete wilds, the Amazing Spider-Man is at its best. Hundreds of collectible comic pages twinkle on rooftops and are nice rewards for the simple act of locomotion. But there's more to the game than web swinging, of course. Story-based missions take you off the streets and send you into dull sewers and other places. These chapters are more confining than the freeform gameplay that surrounds them.
The people up there.
There's rarely a sense of speed, and you must take a more cautious approach. This often means holding down a button to slow down time, choosing a proper perch, and then releasing the button to leap to that spot.
I mean, there's absolutely nothing to do. I bet a parking lot security guard gets more action than us.
You use the same button to perform a web rush against guards, robots, and other meanies. The influence of Batman Arkham Asylum is very clear here. You tap attack buttons to pound on your foes, and when the right visual prompt appears, you press the dodge button to somersault out of the way. You have a one-button escape move that allows you to quickly flee danger, too. You can even web grab objects like vending machines and smash them on the ground, stunning nearby foes.
You didn't watch it, did you? I figured you were the type to sit at home all day good.
The similarities to that other superhero game are also obvious in sections that encourage stealth. You can hover above an enemy and perform a sneak attack. Dropping from a beam above, tapping a guard's shoulder, and then wrapping him up and sticking him to the ceiling is a hoot. The AI isn't very bright, but there are some nice touches. For one, guards will shine their flashlights about when they're aware of your presence, potentially giving you away. For another, you aren't limited to roosting in predetermined areas. You can usually flit to the wall right over your target's head and wrap them up from there.
Maybe you should stay there.
The combat is fine, but it's entirely too easy on normal difficulty. There's a simple upgrade system in place in which you spend experience points on new moves and other improvements. But there's no real sense that you're getting more powerful because battles are easy from beginning to end.
That's not the neighborly welcome I hoped for.
That's true even of boss fights. Still, boss battles on the streets of Manhattan make up for their lack of challenge with an incredible sense of speed. Racing after boss robots is a rush. The skill required often comes down to just hitting the right button when prompted, but when the excellent movement mechanics collide with the urgency of a boss battle, the game is explosive. There are other tasks to perform out in Manhattan as well. They involve picking up asylum escapees and returning them to their institution, beating up muggers, taking pictures for your journalist friend, and so forth. Many of these tasks don't evolve in any way, which makes them become stale if you focus on them for too long. But even so, it's a thrill to zoom through the air at top speed, and Spidey's quips help keep you entertained.
Pizza with your adopted turtle sons?
Spider-Man is funny from beginning to end, even when he's in mortal danger. And that happens a lot in this story, which has a viral outbreak threatening the citizens. Spidey breaks a scientist out of the local asylum to help, but of course, the plan isn't as simple as he wishes it were. In any case, the dialogue is an entertaining mix of seriousness and ridiculousness, a good match for the absurd but involving story. The Amazing Spider-Man spends a little too much time in drab drains and boring science facilities. But when developer Beanox gives Spidey room to soar, you get caught up in the pure elation of swinging through a spirited city. Helicopters hover overhead and well-wishers call out to you in the streets. And it's hard not to cry out in joy as you zoom through the sky, reveling in the fun of it all.